Now dig this. A preacher and a disc jockey walk into a bar. It's the best, worst podcast you've ever heard. And now, the Ronnie and Bo Show. Brought to you by Prescott Realty and Prescott Tire Pros and Automotive Service.
It's Ronnie and Bo, and boy, we have been away. We haven't done many of these.
No.
Lately.
No, but we have been meeting every single morning.
Yep.
Weekdays.
So we've been building this podcast.
Yeah.
And then we went away from it for a little bit, and then we got hired to be a radio morning show in Prescott, Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. And so now we're going, let's do a podcast again because we can talk longer.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. When we began, we said, I can't talk that long.
Yeah,
and
right.
now you have to talk over 18-second intros, and we go, that's not fun. Let's talk.
It's hard. It's super hard. But the Ronnie and Bo Show is brought to you by Prescott Realty and Prescott Tire Pros and Automotive Service. Prescott Realty has just done such good things in our community. They're the best place to go if you've got real estate needs. You can give them a call at 928-499-8700. Or if you've got some automotive needs, tires, fixing up a bumper that got crunched, or
a week ago,
oil change.
I'm in my Ford Expedition, and I get the little low tire pressure signal.
Oh, yeah.
And I drove on over there, and there was a nail in my tire, and they fixed it for free. Repaired it, patched it.
I had the same thing. I ran over a screw at some point, ran it over, and they fixed it.
They're on Iron Springs Road. You can check them out at PrescottTirePros.com.
Right. Their number's 928-776-0205. So I think it's kind of interesting, like, maybe to chat about, I don't know, some of the dynamics of this radio stuff, because this is your world that you've had your whole career in.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm just learning. It's kind of it is a whole different world.
So I've got a background in radio. Worked in Los Angeles, worked in Dallas, San Diego. You jump from market to market. You get hired, you get fired.
Yeah.
And you learn to live with it.
Yep.
And reinvent yourself and that kind of stuff. And that's sort of how this podcast came on.
Yeah.
Well, then we took, I tried to, what do you call that when you take it and you turn it into something? Whatever that word is.
Yeah.
You try to
parlay it.
I guess. But and we were able to parlay our success with the podcast into a weekly radio show.
Right.
We work 6 to 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we thought that maybe this podcast could be just dedicated to the back scenes. Behind the
radio,
curtain, so to speak. We don't know how this is going to come across.
Let's talk about that for just a minute. Sure. The waking up this early. That's whole new territory for me. To get up every once in a while at 4:30 or 5 a.m. is not my favorite thing. No. But to do it every single weekday, man.
And I was trying to, when we were talking about possibly accepting this job offer, I was trying to, because you were unfamiliar with it, I was trying to give you as much as you want. I said to you,
you were being a realist.
Well, I was trying because I wanted to do this with you, and if you weren't going to do it, then I wasn't going to do it. And so I wanted you to know exactly what you were getting into.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I remember one thing I said to you. I said, I don't know I know your wife, I know your children.
Right.
But I don't know your routine.
Yeah.
I don't know your relationships and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I said to you that.
Yep.
And then I said, for example, if you wake up and make your children breakfast, and your wife sleeps in or warms up the car or whatever she's doing, you will no longer be able to do that.
Yeah.
If she makes breakfast and you drive them to school, you will never be able to do that anymore. And I gave you those examples, and I said, just be sure that you want to do this.
Yeah.
And you had a heart-to-heart with your wife, I think, and you guys were talking about it. But I was trying to paint as vivid of a picture as possible. Obviously, I forgot to tell you that radio stations treat their employees like carnival workers, and there's no support. But besides that,
you failed also to mention the nausea at when 4:42 a.m. rolls around. It's such a weird. It's so dark.
And you just said 4:42. You're closer to the radio station. You live closer in proximity than I do. My alarm goes off at 4:15.
Okay, see, now this is probably news to both of us.
But I'm 30 minutes further away than you are.
Right. I wake up at 5:05. Well, I don't wake up then.
You just said 4:42.
No, well,
is that a figure of speech?
No, so that's what's happened. So the first day, I set the alarm for
excited.
5:05, and I woke up at 2 a.m. and then 3 a.m.
Because you're
and
nervous
then 4
and excited.
Yeah. And then the second day, it was like, oh, goodness gracious, how am I going to get through? And then I made it through the morning fine, but then about 10 a.m., I'm starving because I've been up since 5.
Yep.
And by 3 p.m., is it nighttime yet? Can I
just
go to bed yet?
Glazed over.
Yep. But now, okay, we're a month in right now.
Right.
And now I have only once in the last month had to use my alarm.
No, what does that mean?
Well, I set it, just in case, I set it for 5:05. Because I can get a shower and in 10 minutes.
Right.
And then be here by 5:30,
right.
Easy. And so now I'm waking up on my, you know how your body clock just starts to.
So you don't. So are you serious? You completely trust that, or do you still set an alarm?
I still set the alarm,
but
I haven't had to use it. Yeah.
Wow.
One time I did.
That's amazing.
And
your
that's
body
it.
knows what it's doing, right?
It thinks it does, because last night I thought, oh my goodness, I started stirring, and I thought it's probably time to get up, and it was 11:14 p.m.
Yeah.
Is I hadn't even crossed over midnight yet. So,
and this is a real job. I mean, we're on the payroll. We get paychecks. We've got responsibilities.
Right.
I mean, this is a real job.
Yep.
And for you, we have structured it sort of like a part-time job because you have a job.
Right. Yeah, I go to my job after this.
You're a pastor at a church, and you have to, I don't know if you work 9 to 5, but obviously you don't just work on the weekends. So you have staff meetings, you have responsibilities throughout the week, and those kind of things, and things that the boss expects you to do.
Right.
And so you can't just go, I did my radio gig. I'm going to go take a nap like I do.
Yeah.
So, but it's
okay. So I want to find out at some point, like, what your favorite part about this has been so far in this first month.
Okay.
But as a newbie, what I've found interesting is this whole computer setup in here.
The equipment is interesting.
And watching you work, because the music's all lined up on a computer, and there's a clock that tells you how long each song is and how long the intro is before they start singing or something, so you can talk over that without talking over lyrics.
That's right.
And then they've got these liners and legal ads, and then there's commercials.
Jingles.
And then so you've got to stop it at a certain time and start it at a certain time, and
You're really flying an airplane. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, you got your hand on the mouse, you got your hand on the volume, you got your hand on the mic button, and the slide pot, that you slide up and down.
Yeah, because you've got the soundboard right here where you're controlling our volume.
Right.
You're controlling the volume of what goes out over the air.
Right.
You're controlling the volume of what we hear in our ears and in the studio here. You've also got another computer that we do Facebook Live on.
Yeah, that's right.
And then this other computer also in front of you, 3 computers.
So you have
does recording.
Yeah, you have 2 internet computers.
Yeah.
One's an internet computer.
Yeah.
Computer. You go find your stories. You go do your Facebook stuff. You start your live video stuff. That's just an internet computer.
Yeah.
Then you have a computer that has capabilities of recording incoming phone calls.
Yep.
Recording sound effects, recording whatever you're going to use on the air.
Right.
And then you have the main computer.
Yeah.
And then they have software. And there's many, many companies in many different markets and different stations. We happen to use Simian. I don't know anything about it. But that is the software, and you load all your songs, and it gathers all your songs. And then you make a clock of sorts.
Yeah.
You got 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And so what you need to do is you need to have, if you have 12 minutes of commercials, you need 48 minutes of music. And so you're building a clock by inserting 2 songs, and then you got to insert a 10-second jingle. Yeah. And then all that adds up to 60 minutes, right? Yeah. And then you play 3 songs, and then you do a little 20-second sweeper or promo or whatever you call that, station identifier.
Yeah.
And then but in the computer, it's not a circular clock; it's a linear clock from the top of the page to the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
and you just work your way down one item at a time, and then you have to start the next record and stop the record, and you don't have to load it. The computer loads it.
Yeah.
But then you have to stop it because you want to talk there. Because if you don't stop it, then the computer will go to the next thing, and you're starting to talk, and then it's a train wreck.
Yeah.
So you have to, and then there's strategies of radio, right?
Right.
I mean, and those were all based on many, many, many years ago, from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and there's too many strategies and philosophies to explain.
Yeah.
But and then there's the lingo, right?
Yeah.
Which you didn't have. You had 10 minutes of difficulty with the lingo because you didn't need to worry about the lingo, but you had no problem with the lingo.
Right.
But you say, okay, we're going to go into a stop set.
Yeah.
That's a radio term.
Right.
A stop set is a set of commercials that you stop at.
Yeah.
It's a stop set. You're going into a stop set. You're going into a break.
Yeah.
A station break.
Yeah.
You're breaking away from format and going into station break.
Yeah.
So you understand. Commercials block, a commercial set. So all those are the same word for commercials.
Comes then with some sort of shorthand for it.
Right.
And then even that, speaking of hands, you've adopted this kind of nonverbal communication because the mics are open.
Right.
And we're not doing scripted stuff. It's not like we're sitting here reading.
Right.
But you got to know when to cue me or
right.
Just at least give me a hint about, hey, I'm doing this and you take that part and
right. Well, sometimes it's a nod of the head,
Right.
We will say like the song is playing and we're getting ready to do a bit. That's another radio thing. A bit. I mean, it's not a radio thing. It's TV,
all the entertainment
comedy,
stuff.
all the bit. And we'll be ready to do a bit, and the song will be 3 minutes long, and we're going to be talking after this song.
Yeah.
And we'll say, what do you want to do at the next break? What do you want to do next?
Yeah.
Maybe more people are scripted in a sense of, I come to work at 6, and at 6:10 we're going to do this part, and then we're going to do the dog bit, and then we're going to do the baking bit, and then maybe people are. We don't tend to be that way. I don't tend to be that way. You are really helping me because you're more organized. But we'll pick up bits.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll think of good ones. Sometimes we'll think of ones that bomb. But what we're thinking of is what makes us have fun and makes us laugh.
Yeah, exactly.
That is where we're coming from.
Yeah.
Do you want to do there's a popular news story. Do you want to talk about that popular news story from a different slant?
Right.
That could be your bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the crazy joke bit?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the
impressions and all? Yeah.
So then we say to each other, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that bit. You like that one? Yeah, okay, let's do that one.
Yeah.
We agree upon it. The song is now fading out.
Right.
And we say we're going to do that bit. And that's basically all we say. We don't say how are we going to do it.
Right.
Or are you going to start? Am I going to start? We just go.
Yep. Yep.
And the phrase, sometimes you finish each other's sentences,
Right.
And that's just common sense. I mean, if you get to know somebody well enough, then you can just finish each other's sentences.
Exactly. And I think that was kind of one of the benefits of doing almost a year of the podcast before we dove in, because there was a rhythm that we adopted in the podcast.
That's right.
That we also then took to the Elks Theater and honed that a different way. And then now this is even honing it all together again.
Yeah, and a bit of a crutch or a bit of a splint to help that is, because it's radio, I can point at you.
Right.
Yeah,
you
hey,
can't
Ronnie,
see what's going on.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm going to say this, and when I'm done saying this, I'm going to point at you, and it's your turn.
Yep. And then I take it from there.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or you raise your hand up, or you give a nod, or it's, or a,
right. I think one of my, I'll tell you what one of my favorite things about this has been so far.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been where we have there's a song playing, and you'll say, we've got a stop set. We're going to talk for a couple of minutes. Okay, what do you want to do? And we come up with 3 or 4 things, and then we say, let's do that one. And then we pick it,
right. And
then the mic gets opened up, and then we take an abrupt left or an abrupt right.
Beautiful.
And it's that's been my favorite, because that's just kind of fun and magical in the moment. We had one this morning with the Grammy Awards.
I want you to tell this story, but I hope it's not one of those things where you had to be there. But let's tell that story.
I know, yeah.
So we, off the air, the song is fading, as you just explained. Okay, we're going to do the list of the artists that are up for a Grammy.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Open the mics, go on.
And here we go, yeah.
This weekend, it's the Grammys.
Yep. And then something just
somebody
popped
says,
in. Yeah. why do they give these awards to grandmothers? And that wasn't a part of the plan at all.
Right.
But now Grammy turns into this whole
Grandma
bit on why we're giving awards to grandmothers and what our grandmothers are named. And
yeah, and does a Meemaw or a Nini not get a Grammy because it's not grandma?
Yeah.
And that's, what is that called when they go on the stage and they have
just
to
improv. Yeah.
And you never say no, you always say yes, and we do that. And so we do a minute bit.
Yeah.
Well, if it's Grammys, then grandpas get slighted.
Exactly.
And I know you had to be there to think it was funny, but we do our bit, we get done with it.
Yeah.
We go into the commercials, we move on, we take our headphones off because we're done for that time being.
Yeah.
And we look at each other and say, we didn't even get to the thing that we said
we didn't
we were
even,
gonna get to.
which is nice though, because we got to talk again in 10 minutes or so, and we haven't wasted it all.
Yeah. Well, this is fun talking to you about the insides of something that I love to do and what you're starting to do, and this may turn out to be a very successful career or side gig or hobby for both of us.
Yeah, it's a blast. I got to tell you too, I really enjoy that I get to listen to Hanson just about every day that I want to.
They need to rotate the music better, is what you're telling me. We do have a lot of times where the same song comes up, but that's all part of the and maybe in the future we can talk more. Or maybe we make this podcast, we direct it towards talking more about the back scenes of a radio and about our radio experience. I don't know if we can sustain every time talking about this subject.
Yeah.
But maybe we should give it a shot because we certainly didn't talk about the interaction with the callers. We certainly didn't talk about, our desires and our needs to succeed at this job and what we do behind the scenes to try to promote ourselves and what we do to try to promote the radio station, how we get involved in the community.
Exactly.
Many angles.
Well, and I think that's probably maybe the biggest surprise for me is just how much the radio is really just a community service. I mean, you're providing entertainment, but you're also interacting with your community, and that part's actually super cool.
And one of the biggest tips, if I'm saying that right, one of the biggest tips that you learn when you get into the radio industry, and every disc jockey knows it, and every radio station knows it, and every manager, everybody in radio knows it.
Yeah.
Your goal is to be a mirror of the community.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
You want to hold a mirror up to the community, and that's what you want to be doing. Yep. You want to be talking about the fundraiser. You want to be talking about the tragedy that happened in the community. You want to be talking about uplifting, and you want to be relating to them one-on-one, and you want to be reflecting what the community is on your radio show. That's a hard goal to hit, but it's fun to try.
It is, because like you were telling me, there's some places that just satellite in the music, but one of the benefits, huge ones, of the local radio and local talent in a local radio station is you know what's going on. You're actually a part of the community. You can speak specifically to that, where if you're just satellite in, then
some disc jockey sitting in a studio from Los Angeles or
they
Dallas
don't know
or Denver,
what's going on in Prescott or Flagstaff or whatever. So that's really cool. Well, thanks for taking me under your wing.
No, well, thanks for being here. I'm not doing that. I mean, we're both working together and having a great time. It's a lot of fun.
It's a blast.
And
it's a blast.
I have to admit, I'm looking out of the corner of my eye and at you every morning, and I'm waiting for you to say, okay, I've had enough. So hopefully you'll keep waking up and keep having fun, and hopefully we can do this for another 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're a month in, so we haven't folded yet.
No.
And
we're going to change slight directions on the podcast.
Yeah.
It probably won't be daily at this point.
Yeah.
But and it's probably not going to be gags and shtick and stuff. It'll probably be more talking about life and business.
Well, everything has got different seasons, and
that's right.
And it's kind of morphing along with our journey. So thanks so much for listening in, and we'll be back with you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Ronnie and Bo Show, available on your favorite podcast provider. Please connect with the Ronnie and Bo Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and RonnieandBoShow.com. Send comments to RonnieandBoShow@gmail.com. This is your announcer speaking. I'm Shotgun Tom Kelly.